I'm gonna fix it.
So what were you guys at houses?
I'm being told right. This is not like a bar where I'm getting out the number to be that. So this is my actual phone number. So feel free to, and here's my email address. And this is the real email address also.
For the minute, you'll find it in the bathroom stall.
So, tell me, we're gonna start off with what we've done for years. First off, give me 3 cheers for Perry. Who's done something great for you in the market center or helped out or such as that, Tony?
Yeah, I want to give cheers to Matt and his amazing team, because you guys, some of you in here have had the pleasure of meeting my wife, Kendra. And Matt actually got to meet Kendra, like real Kendra, what I live with. And get my daughter to the closing table for the first house. So cheers to Matt for acting still. One good.
Cheers to Brian. I'm finally using some postcards and designs he's doing. So great job you did for me this week.
Yeah, I discovered in 24 hours ago, which I never knew, they actually do yard signs and estate signs. We've been using them for marketing. My team, we form the building I live in Midtown, and we started talking about signage and everything on our morning huddle, the staff in the huddle. Never knew that. So, get the word out. Okay.
Okay.
All right. On that, one more cheers for peers.
Here,
Yes, ma'am.
to Rachel. Hi, Rachel. She was able to back me up on a closing I was having in July. We were able to close early. And I was out of the country and she was able to represent my buyer.
Excellent.
She did an excellent job. Thank you.
That's one of the great.
Double plug sheet, she did a ton of walking for me when I was on vacation beach, so thank you right there.
People like it, because Blake's been depressed, so.
There you go.
Thanks, Rachel, so much for helping me.
Okay.
Outside by long time every year. So tell me something good. We're gonna do 3, but I'm gonna get the bonus answer on this one. So last week we dealt with saying, well, even though Mickey's still here, this is a holiday. Saying goodbye to Mickey and celebrating her and everything. So this week I get to announce is that we have a new ATL. Okay, first off, who knows what ATL means? Okay, there's not a bottle of wine involved. So our new assistant team leader is actually going to be Carrie Foster.
Yay.
About it. She's jumped in with me on this whole thing, but she's staying way past me on this whole thing. And she actually went after the job. So
I wanted to be with y'all permanently every day. Every single day.
we didn't have to blackmail a driver or anything of that sort. So she came out. So tell me else something good in the market, out of the market, sports teams. The Braves are up 10.5. I don't know if they won last night or not. Oh, they lost. I saw when they were 2 down. So on that, but tell me something good. Oh, come on, people, you gotta be selling something.
Florida State has been on a tear in their football recruiting. I'm super excited.
Hey, I'll take it. Todd.
Australia, yeah, she's not here right now. We just got her root for her. She's getting ready to root for her home.
Fantastic. One more. Okay.
Today is Pat's birthday.
not going to be leading a song by any stretch. I'm at least a good 2 or 3 Crown Cokes in. So let's sing happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So going back to Matt's commentary about football, we're less than 30 days away from the football season. So for those of you who have not been here through a full football cycle, one of the things I do is I basically white trash the office. I know that sounds lovely, but if you have a cubicle or a office here, let us know. We decorate our doors and the cubicle, we put up banners for you. And then starting around August 27th, toward the first weekend of football, we start the trash talking. So whoever your team is, let us know and we'll get you set up, and then you're on your own to defend, if you support Georgia Tech or something like that. Oh, let me make it clear. If you have a cubicle or office and don't tell me, automatically we put an Auburn banner.
I was gonna say, Dave, if you're decorating for Auburn, everybody can go give him their trash.
I don't have any ground to stand on with Auburn right now. Yes, sir.
I just want to say Brian makes these really cool football calendars with all the, he's scheduled on like $1 a piece. Connect with him. It's your face is on people's fridges for like 6 months of the year.
And everyone loves those.
They call me to get them sent. So call Brian and he'll send them out for $1 a piece, whatever it is.
We've got.
They always call me every year. I don't think it's about it. It's different, like, I don't ever play.
Okay, so Stephen, thank you, Stephen Ming, sponsored our breakfast this morning. Come on up.
Yes.
Morning, everyone. How everyone doing?
Yeah.
Stephen Ming with Home Team Inspection Services. How many of you guys did not start out in real estate as an adult? Show your hands. Quite a few of you guys. Just like you, I didn't start out in real estate by a home inspector. I spent 25 years in the IT industry, where it was my job to find problems and fix problems correctly the first time at fast possible. So I was doing that for so long. I wanted to upgrade my life, got a whole bunch of certifications, but I found myself stuck in the same type of role. So I had to reinvent myself. Therefore, that's why I got home inspections. I looked back in my history when I was in high school and I worked for a builder, where it was my job to go to the house, find yourself a subcontractor, you need to fix it or call back out to fix it. I did loop tape inspections and I said, you know what, I can do that now. But I'll do that as an inspector. So what I did is, I thought, no, I can help agents like yourself have a fast report, accurate, and they can deliver to their clients, and they can get to the closing table faster and more efficiently. That's why I do what I do. That's my story of how I became a home inspector. So a good referral for me is first-time home buyers, because I reach out to my clients and I want to make sure they understand the whole process about home inspections. A lot of first-time buyers, maybe even second-time buyers, they are scared. They don't know what they're looking for or what's going on. They got the butterflies. They're concerned about this, that, and the other. But it's my job to calm them down and help them to understand what I'm finding, what is a problem, and what's not a problem. So I'll actually call them, see what measure, engage them, where their current concerns are. I'll make sure to understand the process, what we're going to look for. And then once they get the report, which they will get 30 minutes after I leave the property, unless I can't get a signal on computer project or something like that. Normally 30 minutes after I leave the property, you and I will get the report. And then the following day, in the evening time, I'll give them a call and say, hey, you have a time to look at the report. You have any questions about it, and answer any and all questions about the report to make sure they fully understand it. It's my job to make sure that if they have any concerns, I can address them. I can direct them to fix those things if need be, and to make sure I don't kill the deal. I'm not here to kill any deal. I'm neutral. All the language we use in our reports is neutral. And just a matter of fact, taking it back and you need this fixed, you know, look at this person or something like that. So we talk about home inspections, pest, mold, radon, sewer scoping, just name a few, and a couple other ancillary services. Does anyone have any questions? No, you don't have any, testimony?
Good job, good job.
Yeah, we used you. Yeah, great. Same.
Well, thank you very much, brought breakfast, please enjoy.
All right.
Next up, with Michael and Greg.
Good morning.
We've got an exciting week coming up. We've got a lot of different events. And again, my name is Amy Spading with Michael and Gray. This is Emily Raymond with us as well. And we have an office right outside of the training room, but we do have a couple of events that I want to make sure y'all are aware of. So first, tomorrow I have a trivia class that I'm going to be teaching here. I came up with the questions this time, so they're pretty hard. So I encourage y'all to come in, test your knowledge. But come on in for that class. We also have the happy hour with Shelter Onward and Impelli on Thursday. And then next Monday, whoever is attending Mega Camp, we are doing a happy hour from 4:30 to 6:30 at the Roosevelt Room in Austin. So please join us if y'all are coming. We'll send out the link as well for anyone who's attending. I just want to make sure y'all are aware of those events. And I do want to also talk a little bit today about escrows and then also homeowners insurance. So as y'all know, the property tax are going to be coming out in the fall. This is a good way to reach out, touch any of your clients that are this year. If they have a lender, just remind them again, if they have an escrow account, that tax bill is going to be coming out of the escrow account. So do not pay the tax bill that's going to be paid by your lender. If they were cash closing, just remind them that that payment's going to come due, get that paid. And then one quick touch on homeowners insurance. If y'all have a closing with a buyer and they have a lender, remind them to make sure that the lender is aware of who they're planning on using for their homeowners insurance, that they've already run that by the lender to make sure that gets approved and it doesn't hold up closing. Basically, if they've told the lender, I'm going with this homeowners insurance company, and then they switch and they pay a different policy, that could delay your closing. Keep that in mind because we've had that come up recently. So just make sure y'all are aware of that. Make sure lenders involved on any kind of things with homeowners insurance prior to right before closing. Any questions on that? All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing y'all at all the events. And again, we'll send out an invite for the happy hour for whoever's attending Mega Camp. Thanks, guys.
You got half the ball.
We are doing something new this month with the anniversary luncheon with Onward. So if you should have gotten an email from us yesterday, but if you're celebrating anniversary date with Keller Williams in the month of August or September, we're doing that on the 24th. I believe that's a Thursday at Marlowe's Tavern. So just make sure to RSVP to myself or Renee. But yeah, looking forward to see y'all at the upcoming events. So, all right.
Next up, Onward, Shelter, New Red, whatever. Your name today.
Good morning, good morning.
That's actually what mine says this morning, is giving me a new name. So I know you guys, well, I don't think you guys are going to self-promote, but I will, if y'all, how many of y'all saw Hunter's Instagram post yesterday? I think you got it. I guess I do. So it came out yesterday that this team, Southern Legacy Group, was the #1 group in New Res in the month of July. We expect that in August, September, October, November, December.
Help us out.
All right, I'll start the real quick plug on appraisals. Last 45 days, we've had to rescue 2 deals where a bank and a broker sent out an appraiser and the appraiser came in short. Just reiterating, we have local appraisers that have been working with our company for almost 30 years now. We don't send somebody out from South Atlanta to go appraise something in Cumming. We have people that specialize and know the area, and we are, knock on wood, not having any issues with appraisals right now. So I wanted to touch on that. Rates, I know you guys are probably curious to see what happened last week. It was wild. The ADP jobs report came out. Rates popped up to the highest that they've been since early of last year, almost 7.375. Friday, then there was a revision to a jobs report and the market moved the totally opposite direction and they landed at about 7%. What's happening right now is any news that comes out, it's highly affecting the rates. They're extremely volatile. So any news that comes out, good or bad, we're seeing big movement, and there can be big movement in a single day. The expected, so there was about a 25% chance that rates would be hiked again later this year. Now investors are pricing in a 50-50 chance on that. Big news this week, Thursday, CPI inflation numbers are going to be released, and then Friday, PPI inflation numbers will be released, which can heavily impact interest rates. So that's what I've got.
Now, what's the chance of them being increased twice this year? Because that's the latest talking about that.
So all I've heard is potentially one more at the end of the year. I haven't heard of a second now, unless something just came out.
Yeah, I've heard of the second.
Have you? Okay, so yeah, right now I know the chance of one happening, investors believe there's a 50-50 chance. Let's hope for only one if there is.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Mickey, can you throw that slide up? Okay, so we subscribe to MBS High, which is where we get a lot of our information on the rates and the markets and all that good stuff. They also have a lot of data that we can pull from. So I'm going to put up a rate versus or rent versus buy flyer. This is a common thing I get asked for, just any information on rent versus buy from agents to share with their buyers, especially those that are sitting on the fence, first time buyers, whoever's renting, and trying to decide, can they buy, if they want to buy, are the rates too high to buy, all that good stuff when they're trying to make that decision to get in the market or not. So this is kind of, especially for your high C clients, someone who likes the data, who wants to see, or you're trying to not convince them, but explain to them, hey, it's not just a decision of, is it better to buy this year, rent this year? You know, you're looking at what a mortgage payment would be versus your rent payment. That's a common thing to compare. But when you're looking at it, you also want to kind of explain to them, it's not about just right now or this year. When you purchase, you're building wealth over the years versus if you're renting, you're not. So this kind of data, and this is a PDF I can send you. I sent it to Rachel last week. If you kind of look in the top left, it gives you, hey, if you bought for year one, your monthly payment is about $33.90. That includes, that's your PITI, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So it's everything compared to your rent year one. So this is for the same, obviously, this is based on a $400,000 value home. So you can see the rent payment is a little bit less. So they're looking at that thinking, well, it's cheaper to rent, right? Well, it's really not, because this is on the right here, you'll see the graph that takes you 9 years into the future. So your rent for year one was $3,013. By year 9, that same home is going to be about $800 a month in rent. Yes, this is what we found. Rent is actually going to increase more than your mortgage payment would. So this system is really cool because what you can't see here and what it's baking in is it's baking in a 2% increase of property taxes every year. So it's not saying your mortgage is never changing. It knows that it will. It's also baking in historical, like this is for Gwinnett County in Georgia. So it's baking in what the historical long-term appreciation of the home would be, and it's baking in what it's forecasting, which is right. It's forecasting about 3.3% right now. So all of that stuff is being spit out. You're not seeing that on this flyer, but obviously I can give you that information. So you're seeing what year one versus year 9. So year one, your rent is better than your mortgage, right? It's lower. But if you look all the way to year 9, your rent is much higher. So it's also telling you, so this number right here, your cash flow difference, that means after 9 years of making payments, you're paying that much more in rent than you are in mortgage, right? Over 9 years. So you're also going to gain that appreciation number in green, 137,000 based on 3.3% value each year appreciation. That's not that high.
Which is conservative in the Atlanta.
It's conservative, yep, but it's historical over like 30 years, I think they're doing. So here's your amortization gain. So this is think of your cash flow, you're paying that rent and you're throwing it away every month.
Your amortization gain is your mortgage payment. Instead of throwing it away, you're throwing it toward principal. Obviously, you're paying toward interest, but you're getting some tax deductions. So overall, you're gaining that for amortization, you're gaining that for appreciation in those 9 years. So if you scroll down a little bit, this is based on a 5% down loan, just so you know that. So here's your big number at the end of 9 years. You can say, yep, year one, technically you're at a loss. You're purchasing a home, you're paying closing costs. Year two, you're still a little bit under, but by year three, you're in the green. And all the way to year 9, this is the number. And this is, you can see it's taking into account some closing costs. It's taking into account the cost to sell. So when you get to that year 9, if you're gonna sell that house, what's the value? 6% realtor commission, all of that stuff is there. Even with all of that, you're still coming away 190, whatever that was, $3,000 better to rent, or to buy. So this is kind of, for me, I like seeing that. I like seeing the charts, the graphs, hey, the long-term kind of stuff. So if you've got clients that you think this is helpful for, let us know, because we can access these. You can say, hey, can I get one for, if you have a specific house, if you're having an open house and you want a flyer like this for it, let me know. Because we can print out, we can look up the address, we can pull that particular home, detail the pricing that you want, and give you a worksheet that looks like this. So any questions?
Another thing that I saw this week, and I was talking to these guys about, is that I saw a chart where when you look at the CPI numbers that Matt talked about, CPI has two profound effects onto the market. Number one is while mortgage rates follow the 10-year T-bill in terms of rating, they still look at that number. The other thing is that when we see CPI fall and PPI fall, there is, while it's a little bit of a drag behind it, interest rates on homes start coming down. They did, the graph I saw went all the way back to the 70s. Remember the early 80s when it went flying up and everything? Yeah. And we had inflation and stuff like that. And those who are unfortunately can remember would be the whip inflation thing that Gerald Ford had, at one time. But you also see starting in the later 80s when CPI went down, mortgage rates went down also. So that's something when you have clients who are questioning, oh, rates are never going to go down. The reality is we're already seeing that we're at I think a 3.6% annual CPI rate right now. A lot of people don't realize that. Everyone thinks we're still at 7 to 8%. We're actually not. PPI is a little bit higher, I think, and you have volatility of the differentials there. But you are going to see that effect, coming through, eventually. Also.
Yeah, once that happens, the home prices are gonna go up again, so great graph. One thing that I was gonna talk about is fast track. We haven't brought it up very recently, but get your clients to contact us. We're getting fully underwritten before we put in an offer. I'm sure you guys who have buyers go around putting in offers, it's getting more and more competitive each week, especially in these certain pockets of price points. So if you guys want to make sure we can craft a very competitive offer, let's get them fast tracked. We can close in 2 weeks or less if we need to, and get everything done during due diligence to make that offer super competitive. So we're not going around putting in 10 offers before we win one. So
yeah, I can tell you that Patricia Mallman is a luxury agent out of this office. She has listing up in St. Ives, and we heard that she had an open house over the weekend. Had 30 people at a luxury, over $1 million luxury property, and had 3 offers coming on it. And so that's why you need to utilize things such as that. And then if you have somebody who is putting down a good amount, is also look at the possibility of an appraisal waiver would look, that more qualified.
we've been getting plenty of appraisal waivers lately.
So I was gonna say, Hunter's been doing a phenomenal job with this fast tracks. I think your average days in process was like 14 or 15 days in July in terms of turning them, so.
It makes our life a whole lot less stressful too.
And the client.
And the buyers, yeah.
Question, if there's another rate increase, is that already in the rates right now for one, or not really?
Technically, it's based off of what the investors think. So in this case, if they've got a 50-50 chance, or they're predicting 50-50 chance with about 50% that's baked in already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're always, go ahead.
The rates went up yesterday, so that may have been because there's increased confidence there in the hike of that month rate, and therefore the rates went up like 0.03%. So usually a lot of the times, the 2 weeks leading up to the Fed meeting, you don't know what's going to happen because it's based on what the rates are going to.
The mortgage rates move on the anticipation of what's going to happen. So if we see that 50% become, hey, 75% believe that there'll be another hike, you'll see the rates push up more. Great question.
Awesome.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, Andrew, come on up. This is Andrew with Oak Insurance. How many of y'all know that we have an insurance alliance partner? You can do residential investment and commercial coverage.
And Marine.
And marine, excuse me. Sorry,
Yeah.
but how about scooter?
Scooters, probably.
Not so much.
Just want to touch on what Amy was saying, about the, closing and having the insurance lined up. The quicker y'all can get us in touch with the closing attorneys, the quicker we can meet all the lenders' requirements and all the closing attorneys' requirements on the specifics of the type of coverage that's needed for the loan. So whenever you're doing a closing, just put me in touch with the closing attorney as soon as possible. Because there has been instances where people decide to change insurance, and if you're bringing us in at the last minute, I can't call a problem. So
And case in point, I can give, Cam had a closing last week. They got delayed out by about 4 or 5 days because they didn't have their, not y'all, another broker one to make that very clear. Throw you under the bus and then drive over you. With that, so the insurance, while it sounds like a small item, it is an item to deal with on those things.
yeah.
As both O'Kelly and Sorham and Michael and Gray are nodding their heads in unison.
And that's all.
Right, thank you. Welcome to guests. Carlos is visiting us. You just got your license? Oh, yeah, you just got your license?
Yeah.
So no one let him leave until he signs up here. We're glad to have you here today. As you can see, we have very large team meetings. In addition, we have about 40 people, 40 people on Zoom. So we've got about 80 some odd, 80, 90 people watching, which really should make me nervous.
Holly has one guest as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is Ellen, you guys.
Hello.
Yeah, but she's working.
So you're working on getting your license?
Yes, sir.
Right. When you get to the state exam, really focus on state laws. At least that was applicable 17 years ago.
Yeah.
On that part. So Enrique, come on up.
Hey.
Yes. What did I do? Okay, go sit back down. Stand over here. So, yeah, come on up. I screwed up this slide presentation, you know, order this thing. Good morning, everyone. It's so good. You want to give a round of applause?
Yeah, so can I just go to the next slide? All right, so we're gonna play a little game here, and I don't know if the high score wins.
Hold on, sorry.
I threw it in your slide deck. Please touch on the next.
Oh, it's on the next one?
Yeah.
Sorry. I knew that too. I want you to do it.
Mickey's got senioritis, so she's ready to. So who's seen this before? Where have we seen this before?
They've already.
Yeah, this is actually, this is inside of Shift as well as MREA. Now, a little trivia here, and there's no wine to give away either. I know, you really messed up.
Today's house is this day.
When was the MREA book published? When was that?
2003.
Yeah, 2003, 2004, yeah. When did Facebook come out? 2002, 6, 2005. Really? Yeah, so if you're gonna go back and read the MREA, there's a huge part of the generation that's actually missing today, which we have on social media. So what I have on the screen is actually a snippet of MREA 2. This is the new updated lead generation model. So this isn't published material. You can feel free to take a picture of it. This is the updated material. That does include things like social media. But just a quick question for you. And take a second to actually look at these. How many of these things are you doing in your business? See some.
And the most important thing, not just doing your business, but doing it on a consistent basis.
We'll get there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. How many of these are you doing? Let's start there.
I think the bus stop benches has really been successful. There may be an opportunity.
You guys aren't doing
People
buses.
that take the buses are really,
Yeah.
buying home.
Well, and
Remember, this is for the entire country, folks.
yeah, this.
And beyond.
And they still exist, right? As do those little like separator things inside the grocery store, right? I see those too.
As to the yellow pages.
How many are y'all doing? Like, we have a high school, who's doing the most?
Social media, Facebook.
Okay, how many are you doing? How many have done like, let's start with 5 or more. Raise your hand. You can't beat it, sorry.
Probably.
Yeah, there's a lot out there. Can we do 8 or more? 10 or more? Good. You're looking at it. Good point. The key here is that there was a major error inside of the original MREA book in regards to the lead generation model. In that book, Gary talks about being marketing based and prospecting enhanced. If anyone ever hear that?
Yeah.
Now, he's been said that if he could ever go back and rewrite the book, which I'm pretty sure he has the ability to do so, you change up one thing, which would be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. So it's actually one of the biggest flaws inside of MREA is that we actually got this backwards. So what we now know is that agents should be based on doing something that's prospecting based, meaning that we're putting in our time, we're putting in our effort, and then we're enhancing that with marketing. Anyone know the difference between those two things? Like, what's the difference between prospecting and marketing? It's not a true question.
Prospecting is gonna get you actual leads and marketing is gonna be more brand influence, market share, is my share.
Okay, well, you're not far off, because if Mark's saying to put a billboard out there, he still gets leads, right? It is promoting himself, but we still can get leads from marketing.
What I call it is prospecting such as that is proactive, marketing is reactive.
Yeah,
It comes back at
yeah, so with prospecting, when you look at the top of the list, I can always go do one more of those things. I can always go knock on one more door. I can always go make one more phone call to my database. That's how I'm Consumer Protection Act friendly way. With marketing, I can go put a billboard out there, but it's going to be up to that person to call me, right? So I am putting a little bit of like fate out there that I am putting money into marketing, but it's going to be up to somebody to contact me. So what we're seeing in like the updated material, that the new recommendation from Gary and the top masterminds is that we need to pick 2 things from this list that are marketing, or excuse me, that are prospecting based, and 1 for marketing. So if you look at this and you're like, all right, this is a checklist of things that I need to do. That's not the case, not the approach, not the recommendation. What we should be looking at is what are the 2 things that I can do consistently, to David's point, that I can actually find joy in every day, and do those 2 things, and then find 1 thing of marketing value to supplement that. Now, when marketing is so valuable and affordable that we have with Diamond Evers, there's a lot more that we can do. But the key thing is like, don't give up on that aspect of like, I need to be doing 2 things or choosing 2 things that are prospecting based. Now, and just a final note on this, and don't take up too much time. I want you to like really think about like, if I can make prospecting painless, how can I actually build a business around that? So I don't know about you, but like, I look at some of these things up here on the prospecting side and I go, oh gosh, I have no desire to do that. I would be the person that would like go door knocking and be like, please don't be home because I don't want to talk to you. I know some people are like the same thing with business of like, oh my God, please don't pick up. I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but like, please, I don't want to talk to you. Right. So like this idea of like painless prospecting, what's something that I can do consistently that like I can find joy in and doesn't cost me a ton of money?
Networking.
Yeah, and it can be different for everybody. And I want to share an example. And I know it's blasphemy. I'm Georgia Ladies Group. I do cheat on you. I work with other offices. I know, shame on me.
Really?
But I want to share a story out of the North Atlanta office. Because when I was just the market center tech trainer data before I became GLD, we celebrated Robin Martin. She was the first MRE agent out of that office. And I remember them interviewing her at the team meeting, and they were like, Robin, like, tell us all of your secrets. You're the first MREA out of this office. How did you do it? And she said, I play tennis. And like, everyone's like, how? You know, like, really, how did you do it? She said, no, I play tennis. Anyone know Robin's tactic?
She plays tennis.
She plays tennis, but she plays tennis. She plays doubles 3 nights a week and never repeats who she plays with. So that's 9 real estate conversations a week that she turned into prospecting. So I don't want you to look at lead generation as this like dirty word that almost seems like a curse word sometimes. I want you to build your business and simplify this around, if I can pick 2 of these things and do it consistently, and heck, turning tennis into lead generation sounds pretty darn good to me. I wouldn't have to go door knocking or call it just, expired listing. That doesn't sound fun to me. So.
Michelle really does the same thing.
Yeah, excellent, yeah. And I learned that kids are great too, so if anyone wants to borrow mine, they're really cute.
Also.
Yeah, that was great too. But I want you to look at this to be a lot less overwhelmed, the next time you see this when it's published instead of MRE two. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. You're up. Let's say your turn and up at the same word.
Hi, everybody. So I was thinking about being a broker. A broker is sort of like someone, split babies and stuff. But really, sometimes you feel like, what's what, so sometimes we have to negotiate a compromise, which we were successful in doing last week, because we had a situation where I really felt our agent was wrong, but I want to support the office, so I told them, no, we're keeping the earnest money. Anyway, ended up splitting it, and everybody seems to be happy with them. That was good. So, I've been doing this for a really long time, so I've learned a lot, and I learn a lot every day. So I have had some experiences recently that I wanted to tell you about. One of them was, this is these mortgage people. One of our agents who was selling her daughter a house, they got a mortgage through the bank, which is not always the best plan because, as you know, banks, they issue savings, they have all kinds of stuff they do. They're not so focused. But anyway, this bank waived the appraisal. The buyer wasn't happy about that, so the buyer got their own appraisal, which came in below the offer price. But they can't do anything about it because the contract says the appeal has to come from an appraisal done by the bank and the lender. Right? So the lender's already told the seller, we're waiting. We're waiting. So you gotta be careful who you work with. And I want to tell you something. You should work with a lender that is associated with our office and going with somebody. Be sure that the lender you're working with is representing your buyer, but you're representing the buyer. You don't want your buyer in a situation because this buyer is paying more money for this house. She can ask them to lower it, but they're not going to lower it. They've already been told the appraisal has been waived. So they're still in the financing contingency. But if she terminates, the buyer loses their own. So I want you to be careful about who you partner with this. The other thing, I had a most amazing conversation. One of our agents had made an offer on a property. When they did the inspection, they found out that the foundation was cracked. So the buyer pulled out and in 5 days of due diligence. The third day, she sent the termination. The seller's agent was an agent who owned his own company, of course, did not belong to the board, been in business 50 years. So he sent some really nasty emails to her. I called him and he told me, and you're not gonna believe this, that we need to educate our Spanish agents to speak English. I mean, I said, we have a great Spanish agent. We have our own division. And I said, this is totally wrong. I'm going to report it. But I've been thinking about that.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, he should be shaking in his boots. He doesn't know. But the problem is, I only have his word. I don't have anything to write. So I don't know how far I get with that, but it is just shocking what people say. So I don't know if you keep up with this magazine, Realtor. We get it every month. You should read it. I'm having an interesting thing. This is a whole issue from 2022. But it has a page in here, and I didn't put it up there because I knew it'd be too small to read it, but if you like more, I'll send it to you. It's called Word and Phrase List. What you can say if you're real, okay? And there's shocking things in here that you can't say, or that you shouldn't say, that I thought would be perfectly fine, especially if you're leasing something. You could say non-drinkers. You can't say non-drinkers. It's not good. Can't say non-smokers. I always put non-smokers in my ad, so I guess that's wrong.
Yeah, it's a checkbox.
There's so many things you can't say. You can't say two people. If you got two bedrooms, you got two people. Then you have the six. That's the problem I have with one of my lists, one of my properties is that everybody wants to put 6 people in there. It's only got 2 bedrooms. So I say, no, we don't take it. So it's a problem. I could be in jail myself. But I thought you might want to think about that. There's a lot of things that we say that probably we shouldn't, and I'm as guilty as you are, but it might be good to take a list like this and sort of go over it again, make sure that when we're speaking, that we're speaking what's appropriate for real people. And this is the other problem, that most of these people that we're dealing with that are doing things that aren't kosher. I guess I don't know if I say that word, but that's what I say. So you can't afford to move forward. The only way goes mission, and that's a pretty long process, and you have to have a lot of writers to do that. But anyway, just wanted to pass that on. Y'all, if you want a copy of this, just shoot me an email and I'll get you one.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, Chad Oregon.
Good
morning. Sit over here, so I'm not watching the screen. Right back. And let me ask you this. What do you think of Sam's presentation?
It's done.
What we do, and we agree that it is very simple, what we realtors do, right? What is it that we do? We generate and we get listings, we get seller listings and we get buyer listings, right?
Right.
And when you're done, do it again. That's it, right? It's, I mean, we don't send people to the moon, we don't do anything crazy, right? But we have, in some cases, not as successful a career as we could have, because we have this ups and downs, right? Let me share a little secret with you, and part of it has to do with poor time management. That's usually the key problem. It's not lack of knowledge. We have the tools, we have the MREA, we have coaching, we have training, we have everything that you would need to make this the most successful career you could ever have. But yet, we don't schedule what we're supposed to be doing, and we don't prep for it, right? So let me share a couple of slides with you. And I'll be brief, because this is we can make this an hour or 2 hour plan. Yeah, we're gonna reach straight, right? Oh, I know we do. So part of the trick is for you to do 2 things, okay? So if you can remember this, we're ahead of the game. One is plan your week ahead of time. And number 2.
Hold on my screen, that TV screen first.
Technology is awesome.
And then the next thing is to plan your day the day before, right? You do those 2 things, and we live and work by the, am I showing you?
No, that's still first up there.
We have to restart.
Yeah, that's great.
My computer's ready to leave. Okay, we're good. Turn that one back on and, first. Well, everybody in Zoom world.
Where's the 10 people you need? I'm kidding.
They're right here. Oh, I know what I'll do.
Always have a backup, right?
Yep.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Oh, who's it connecting to? I don't know.
It's connected with everything.
Right, yes.
So one skills you as a real estate agent need, right? Slide number 1, please. Schedule weekly plan time.
have dedicated time at the end of each week to move forward and schedule the next week. You need to be out in front of your tasks and actions. This allows us to be proactive in determining what we are allocating our time to and not just responding to what shows up, which is what a lot of us end up doing, right? Slide number 2. Create a to-do list for every single morning. This is the night before, right? We're planning our day. Prioritize the list, numerical or alphabetically, whatever works for you, to make sure you get the important stuff out of the way first. Eat the frog, right? However, make sure you also leave enough time for unexpected tasks that come up throughout the day so you don't feel overloaded and stressed. Okay? Number 3, break up the day. Try assigning 25 minutes to each task. Don't try to sit down for an hour or two working on one little thing, right? Break it up, put your head down, and don't let anything else distract you for that 25 minutes. Don't check emails or let colleagues distract you during this time, right? Make sure you also take breaks and divide up your day so you don't exhaust or overexert yourself to the point where you're no longer productive. Schedule in mini breaks and strategic times to check emails. Number 4, get rid of distractions. Get your list done, right? If you put it together, get it done. However, while it's great to put your head down and work hard, it's also important to allow yourself little breaks to chat with colleagues that happens a lot around here, right?
Yes.
And make sure you give your mind a break every now and then. Just make sure you have completed all your priorities, tasks, and earn the coffee break or the chat break. In other words, if you do what you're supposed to do, then have a little break, right? Number 5, keep the bigger picture in mind. While the rest of your day might be spent putting out small fires, that happens quite a bit around here. After your list is done, it is important for real estate agents to keep the bigger picture front and center. As part of your weekly plan, allocate time to take a step back and look at the big picture. Are the tasks and activities you're completing on a daily and weekly basis supporting the achievement of a larger goal or purpose? Let me tell you a brief story. Put yourself in 1998. This is the British rowing team who hadn't won a gold medal since 1912, Olympic gold medals. And they basically said, how do we get from being an average rowing team, which we are now, to compete in Sydney, Australia, and perform at a high level? And they basically sat down and said, okay, how do we do this, right? What is it gonna take for us to make this happen? And they came up with one thing at the end of the day that actually made it work for them. The British rowing team used this single question, a profound implementation intention, to quickly escalate their unity, skills, conditioning, and training. Will it make the boat go faster? Anything that they did, anything that they prepped with, anything that they implemented, the question was always that, will it make the boat go faster? They destroyed the competition and won gold in Sydney, Australia. Self-assessment is what I'm doing, moving the boat faster. Keep it simple. Remember that all we do is lead generation and lead conversion. Everything else is secondary. Stay on task and get the boat moving faster. That's what I have for you guys. Yeah. Was that fast?
Very fast. Let's do our activity, and then we'll go over it last.
Okay, so one of the things we wanted to do today is that, in all blunt honesty, we're entering a new era for Chattahoochee North. It's going to be a great era. We've had a great era, but things change over time. What we want to do is, as an exercise, and this is class participation, so I don't want to see a bunch of dead faces. We're all involved, okay? The first thing we want to discuss is what, and this is our Vanna White for today. We want to list out, what are the things that you love about Chattahoochee North? I want at least 5 to 10 items. Go.
Sense of family.
Okay.
How's the culture?
Okay, Pat?
the friendships that we would make in this room.
Okay, all right. Keep going.
Staff.
Staff, leadership staff. We're very, very pleased to have them. They have been absolutely fantastic this past week.
Training,
Training,
sharing ideas, support, yeah.
okay, excellent.
The team meeting.
Okay, now we can slow down just a second. We appreciate
You got
it.
it, wow.
Let's slow down just for a second.
You asked.
She's not the bionic woman, you know, right?
It's got nice handwriting. You, right.
Everybody look like it.
Yes, we went fast. I was going. I was going.
Okay, no, you're good. Got to acceptance. What was next?
Someone said support.
Support. I would say under support, put that under technology and broker services. Do y'all agree? Okay. All right, let me have a couple more.
And David, even support like Rachel helping fellow agents out. That was-
Yeah, they're actually working on the marble statue right now.
Lights around it. Also known as just.
The community outreach.
Community.
A vendor partnership.
Mike, Matt will pay you that $5.
I think the team meetings every week are really essential to the culture.
Yeah, really based on this one.
Yeah.
The socials that we have periodically.
So,
That's under our amazing partner. Who you are in business with matters. And that's why we are in business with the best.
the thing is, I want, before we go on to the next one, because we're gonna keep moving, is when you come through here and look at all these things, there's one word that stands out. And that's this word right here, culture.
Yeah.
This market center is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. It was actually in April when this market center opened. And there's some, I saw Ron somewhere, there you are. And there's Charlotte, who was original, and John and Susan back there. Those are that, and Ruth, they're the goats. You know, they're the OGs of this market center. And we're just trailing in behind. I think I'm actually like at this point, number 7 in seniority. I just beat Michelle Rios. On that, for those of you who don't know, she's my little wife. Also known as husband 1B. But that's what's kept me here this time. I'm going to, and this is gonna be very tough for me in the weeks coming up. We got Mega Camp next week. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of you know parts of my story. I'm gonna tell you my whole story, not to make it very anticipatory, but it will explain why I've been here for 17 years. And it was going to be, and I've just made this decision literally right now in my head. It is going to be the most anyone knows about me in this market center. No one's ever known these parts of it before. But what it will do is it will reinforce to you what culture is, at least to me, and what's important about that. And that's the most important to me, that's the most important word on this list. Because trust me, I live 0.7 miles from the KW Midtown office and 2 miles from the in-town office. So it'd be a lot easier to go to those, and I never think about doing that whatsoever. So plus I can get free Diet Coke here. All right, so next, we're gonna look at something different. So next, what is something that you think that we can improve on? As we go into this next era, what are things that you see that you want your ALC to look at? How many of you guys know what our ALC is? Okay, let me reverse the question. How many people have no idea what I'm talking about? And it sounds like something that AT&T offers. ALC is your Associate Leadership Council. Okay, it's a group, think of it like a board of trustees or a board of directors for a business. We're actually having a meeting today at 2 p.m. Anyone is welcome to come to it. You're not allowed to talk during it, but you can come. Think of it like sitting in the gallery of Congress. I made it sound really important. But you definitely are allowed to come. We encourage people to come to see what goes on there.
And join a committee. We have committees.
Yeah.
And just because you're on not on the ALC, doesn't mean you can't get involved with the different committees that we have.
And let me give you an idea, and we're gonna jump on this. I don't say the importance, but it's an honor to be on it. We have 180,000 associates in Keller Williams in our city. There are about 825 offices. Let's say there's on average 10 ALC members per market center. That means about 8,000, only 8,000 associates out of 180,000 or deemed to come onto it. You can work toward it. The standards is to be engaged in the market center, to be in the top 20%, to want to be part of it. So it actually very much is an honor to be that. Well, let's go on to the next second. What are the things you think that we can improve on? And be honest here, there's not gonna be retribution. We're not gonna take down Rachel's, statue, just find you, out there or anything of that sort, but shoot me, no, don't shoot me. I'm keep going back. I'm getting my steps in doing this, actually.
Yeah, just get that. What would you like to see us do here that we may not be doing right now?
Well, it's perfect. Let's make it very clear, not. Yes.
Space for everybody to see inside the meeting room, I guess, when we have their meeting, because there's a lot of people.
Hey, I don't know what I can do on that.
Try, we can do something about that.
Okay. Anyone else? Come on, guys, we're not perfect.
Is there a class that you would like to see?
Is there technology?
Would you like to have one-on-one meetings more often with someone on the ALC or one of us?
Maybe some kind of group or forum where people can find accountability partners, because I know a lot of people struggle with that, so.
Okay.
Would you like to have more masterminds on things that you want to focus on in your career and get together with like-minded realtors and share ideas?
Yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Okay, so I'm gonna back up on this one. I hold once a month a business development mastermind. I have on average only 6 people who attend.
Well, they just.
So, no, hold on a second. If you want it, I'm here. Okay,
Is that in person?
it can be either in person and on Zoom, as much as that pains me. So I don't like Zoom, so that's one.
Yeah, I don't mean, that's what I was asking.
No, it's in for, I do both. So sorry, I didn't mean to get into your face. I'm getting aggressive at this point, the deep personalities. Yes, ma'am.
I was like, I'm an agent, I've been here for 3 months, and when we come in, it's like we're, it's a lot of information, like you were asking, what is the like, sometimes we don't even know, or there is a lot of information that like your class of mastermind, we don't even know what is all that about, so.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna back up on that, and I'm not throwing you under the bus on this point. However, we have a newsletter, we have an intranet. If it's my class, you get obnoxious emails from me 3 or 4 times telling you that we have the class coming up.
And text messages.
It's all and text messages. So what my point to it is, and I really encourage the instructors being associates and such as that to personally go out and invite you. So the one thing I will defend, and I think the staff does a great job, is there is no way that you can't look at it. Okay, and please understand, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus here. It is also your responsibility to pay attention to those things. We can only shove it out into your face so hard, but at some point, it becomes one's own responsibility to do it. We've got it, guys. I want to have 50, 70, 385 people, which is the total agent count in this market center, on that mastermind call I do. I'd love that to do it. But at the end of the day, it's each of ours responsibility. My responsibility of that class is your responsibility to attend the class, to run it. Oh boy, that got a lot of hands. Yeah, we're gonna start way in the back with Susan.
I was just trying to say, sometimes when you're a new agent, it's very overwhelming when you start saying it might be that get hooked up with a mentor or somebody like that, and
Well, to the,
Mentoring program then.
so that's why we have productivity coaching now. That's there.
Productivity
One of the things that we're gonna do, and it's probably about time to do it, is maybe in September, October, we're done on the class schedule. But in September is what's called a boot camp, where I go through and I explain the 4,362 acronyms that's inside of Keller Williams. You know, that like ALC, ALC, TL, MCA, ATL, MREA, the alleged MREA2 that, will come out in 2046. Things of that sort. What processes are, what FMLS is, what Georgia MLS is, what's the CMA? How do you find a CMA? What's MAPS coaching? What is coaching? What's BOLD? What's Ignite? So we're going to be doing that. And the thing is, especially for you newer guys who are part of the family now, don't ever hesitate to ask us. That's what we're here for. That's what your AOC is here for. That's what your staff is here for. That's what Carrie's here for. She's gonna put her phone number up for you. You can call her at 2:30 in the morning.
And she'll get a message.
Yeah.
Something mentioned that's funny class, come back.
Okay.
When I joined, you were given a mentor. And while I totally understand PC, I think it is good when someone new comes in to give them an individual that they can feel like they can meet, talk to, and build that little relationship. And then that mentor, helps get them involved in PC and all the other things too. So I really enjoy the mentorship when I first joined.
Thank you.
You mentioned the ALC is there to kind of help us. I don't know how to reach anybody. I don't even know who all's on the AL.
It's on the wall.
It's on the wall. And while it's also very narcissistic on the ALC, the pictures on the wall across from Linda Beth's office. That's your ALC.
Yeah, if you're
Well,
you're an ALC.
All right, but I mean, if is there a list offline, we don't have to drive in and get their phone numbers. There's a way to get a list for signatures.
It's on the roster.
And it's on the roster
Is
too.
it?
Yeah, there's a tab that's ALC and staff on the roster.
Well, excuse me.
I'm gonna distribute all to, and anyone else that would like it of the ALC members, because we are here, not me anymore. But I'm here in a different capacity.
That's one of our
A
charges.
name and a phone number on the pictures up there on our 8x10 lawsuit, put the name.
That's why God made it.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
I think I idea.
All of this, I'll be defense, okay, is either the number 1, 2, or 3 in terms of seniority, except for Enrique. In this office, when I started, which was 2002, December of 2002, I went to every ALC meeting for the next number of years. Number 1, I was going to them. I learned who all the people were. I learned more stuff in those ALC meetings as to how the office does business, how it's run, all kinds of things. What was available as a brand new agent, because I was just freshly licensed back in 2002 when I came in, and I've always done IT.
And you haven't aged today.
So, not.
I can say that to him. Acton Blonde was my mentor when I started.
But I will tell you, I learned so much stuff that way. And then when we started this office, I was asked to be on the ALC for this office when we opened the doors here. And of course, then for years I was on ALC, but you learn so much stuff. Honestly, you do. It's so well worth the time to go to those meetings because you do really, truly learn a lot. You get to know those ALC members. You feel really good about talking to them, asking questions. And then you'll find somebody that you want to be your mentor. And I've done that for tons of people over the years. And there's still people that call me, say, Ron, I'm in the middle of so-and-so. Can you help me out with this? And if I possibly can, you know.
Yeah, it's not like some hidden meeting. You meet in here every second Tuesday at 2 p.m. We're very consistent about that.
It's so important.
Yeah, we don't Zoom it, but we, you know, you can come in person. Amy,
Thank you for that.
Yes, I have two things that are related. So for the team meetings and for masterminds, I wish that there was a topic released in advance, because I can't go to everything.
okay.
So if it's important to me, then I'm gonna make the time, or I'm gonna send somebody else from my team. And then also for the masterminds, like I love masterminds, like one of the things I love about Keller Williams is that there's so many fish bigger than me and I can learn from them. But I like to know the topic like a week in advance, so I can think about it, so I can come up with thoughtful questions. But a lot of times I get to the masterminds that they're just like, okay, what do you want to talk about today? And I'm like,
Okay.
you know, and everybody's silent. And so I think being prepared and knowing the topic that helps me a lot. Maybe others.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
Wonderful.
Mike,
What else? Yes, ma'am.
when I came here to Keller, I've been in real estate for a long time. And I thought that the ALC was a closed meeting. This is the first time I've heard that we could come in and participate or listen.
Yes, listen, I want to reiterate that, is that if you're not a member of ALC, you're allowed to come in and listen, you know, attend the meeting, but listen to what the ALC members, and it's a very structured meeting normally, in what we do, so, with that. So, and, you know, this is why we're having this topic right now, you know, and in the coming weeks, we can have it, you know, even more. Don't ever hesitate to call any of us, call me, whatever. I have to go to Savannah tomorrow. I'm literally driving down there and back in a day. So I've got 10 hours in the car where you can text me.
Don't text her, girl.
Don't take my phone, no, I got so, what else do we have?
There's some stuff on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, scroll.
Agent of the day on the phone. So Elizabeth Oliver, agent of the day, we go through the roster and you can see when your day is on that Sunday newsletter that talked about agent of the day there.
Yeah.
It does exist.
Oh, I'm using the wrong mouse, I'm sorry.
One was to read the notice during the meeting.
Did you already talk about
The
fair housing?
comment section.
Oh,
So that we know that they're contributing.
So what is the agent of the day meeting?
Agent of the day basically means if somebody calls into Jessica at the front desk and they say, hey, I'm interested in listing my home on 123 Elm Street. Who do you have available? Whoever that agent of the day is, they get first shot at it.
So how do you determine agent of the day? There's three.
It's alphabetical across.
So out of the 385 people, you do alphabetical?
Yep.
Yes.
I didn't say it was every 2 minutes, you know, but it's,
But
yeah.
honestly, the number of calls we get in for somebody looking for an agent that doesn't already have an agent, or they're not calling about one of our listings. Because if you have a listing, if it's your listing, Joe, and somebody calls in and we look it up, that lead goes right to you. It
Yeah,
really
yeah,
speaks
most
to your lead. So the number of people that call in that aren't working with an agent and aren't calling about one of our properties is pretty slim. We get maybe 2 or 3 a month.
Yeah, this is not
This isn't meant to be derogatory or anything, but we got 385 agents. How many people come and are active and who maybe do a certain amount of business? Why would you call somebody who only does one? I'm on the list, but I get the call.
because that person who only does one deal, you'll say, why don't I get my shot like everybody else does?
Well, because come and be involved.
And they can also say, you know what, maybe I'm not interested, let me refer it or pass it on to somebody else, so.
Also, we should understand, we're gonna take care of the customer. If we don't get hold of that agent, you know, and we're all doing our own things, we're not just gonna let them hang that customer hang there. We'll go to somebody else.
That's just
Yeah.
curious. I never heard of agent.
It's in the
Person
newsletter.
called with the other problem.
No, it's in the newsletter.
So, okay, do we have everything?
Fairhaven.
Gretchen says that everyone needs to take a Fairhaven Realtor course. This course will be required when you take the Code of Ethics in a couple of years. Take it now. It's a scenario course online for free, go through NAR.
I think Gretchen put that out there while
A while,
we were talking about the words
Yeah,
that
it was.
you cannot say.
Ah,
So that's a great.
Yeah.
That's a really important about.
And maybe Carrie's gonna send out the sheet that Ruth has, she'll email it, and maybe we could just put that Fairhaven information in that email as well.
And you can also do C2EX. It's your, it's certificate of excellence.
Okay, so to what Kim said right there, we used to do
Read
that.
that. So
What is it
yeah,
say?
see those. So Kim says, would love to see the office celebrate agent listings each week by a mention and team meeting. It's good to see agents getting listings each week and hear what the office has listed as.
I love that suggestion. It is a wonderful suggestion that we're gonna write on to the board.
The challenge that we did, and I'm just gonna, this is experience, is that we did that a long time ago. If you guys want to do it, that's fine, but it can take up to 15 minutes of team meeting.
Takes a lot.
That's the challenge. So if y'all want us to do it, we'll do it, but we're gonna sit here longer.
Maybe just flash it up on screen.
Yeah. There's just a way through FMLS to be able to pull what new listings there have been put into the system over the past 7 days. And we used to do that all the time. And if you're an agent who's in here, you can talk about your listing and promote it. But once again, it's going to add 15 minutes to our team meeting.
I think that was my point, maybe do it just differently, right? So we think that you guys have learned that doesn't work, but doesn't mean that we don't do it, maybe just we look at maybe get something.
A little different, spotlight a couple each week.
David,
Yes. Yeah, I heard David somewhere in the atmosphere.
it's Kim on Zoom.
Oh.
I'm just talking about reading the listings. We don't necessarily have to go through and let everybody talk about it, but it just how many we got that week and who got them, and celebrate listings because we're down a little bit right now.
Never knew that was so. I can order also.
That's because you're usually on Zoom.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yes.
reminder that when we submit our listings to command, Jessica will put them up on the board that's in between this room and the kitchen. That the listings are there, and on FMLS and Georgia MLS, we can pull by office. And you can make it be your top pop-up, and you can see every single listing that's coming up.
I get an email every
Including
morning.
including the coming soon.
Yes, and fun fact about that board, you have one listing, it goes in black. If you have 3 or more listings, it goes in red. If you have 5 or more listings, it goes in green. So make your goal to get green.
There you go.
You know that.
Someone else had a hand up on Rick.
I would like to see quarterly at a minimum, profit share classes taking place. A lot of people talk about the culture that we have, but a lot of people don't realize that it emanates from the financial structure that Keller Williams has. It goes hand in hand. And most people, if you ask them, don't have a clue of how it works. They never heard the word, they know, they bring somebody, they do this, they do that, but they really don't know the inners of it. And it's something that we should.
Okay,
teach our innovators.
so for a final thing, so we can actually go out and sell.
So let's celebrate.
Well, no, that was your last thing on your list here.
Okay.
So, what, I know we talked about things to improve on. What are some concerns that you may have? I'll be blunt honest, we've gone through a lot in the past 10 days or so. But what concerns do you have that we can help answer for you? You don't have to claim up, you don't have to worry about, saying what you're thinking. We want you to be honest with us.
We read the end of the pitch.
The what?
Well, if certainly you don't want to mention them in this forum, know that we've got, the staff are here, we're all here. So go and talk to anybody on ALC, talk to any of the leadership, talk to Enrique, Ruthie, everybody who's here. We're here to support you guys and we're here to help you and make sure that everybody feels comfortable in this transition. So just know, if you don't want to speak about it in this forum, come and talk to any of us that are here.
Because the purpose of doing all this today is to build a beautiful story for tomorrow, together. All of us together, making this office the place we want to come and be together and sell real estate together. So I should have said that earlier when I stood up, but I am here to support you, and that is why I wanted this position so badly. That's why I raised my hand and said, Nikki, can I be you when I grow up? Getting back to this office, and I love it more than selling books. So please come to me, let me know what you need, and I will be there for you and help you, and we will find a solution. Okay, that's my promise to you. Thank you.
Okay, we kept you all here 15 minutes past what I was aiming for today. Is there anything, is there anything that we can help you guys with right now? What I would suggest is, let's go do what Sam was talking about and prospect and do marketing, sell some real estate. Let's put money in our pocket, go kick some butt.
All right. Lower classes.
No, I think-
You did a great job.
These personalities are really coming out.
David, Allison had a question about
Oh,
art.
About what?
Art.
Oh, are you still gonna have art?
I can't.
We have that Zoom call every single Tuesday at 5:30. So if you know anyone who is thinking about getting their real estate license, this is a program that we offer, and we cover the tuition for anybody that's thinking about getting their real estate license. It's an online course at their own pace. So send them to our Zoom, and if you need the link, it is in the newsletter, but we can send that out again. So that's tonight at 5:30. And then tomorrow we have McMichael and Gray with the trivia class from 11 to 12. And then cash flow with Albany. Now he came here, this is gonna be in Roswell. He came here and did a 3-part series on cash flow. He's reduced that down to 2 classes. So we'll have tomorrow in Roswell at 1, and then again on Friday we'll be done 2. And then we also have the bilingual sessions talking about contracts tomorrow.
Sorry, I'm trying to play. There we go.
And then for Thursday, we have tech appointments with Tyler. Ignite is back with price to sell. And then, of course, no one missed happy hour on Thursday at cultivation. And then Friday, Ignite is back with sell your listing, and part 2 with Aubrey on cash flow in Roswell. And then we've got the Ignite calendar if you're interested. Now, if you're looking for fee credit, you're probably past that point. But you can pop into any class for free. So if you need to brush up on anything from buyers, selling, Melba always does her contract class, negotiating and closing the deal. You can pop into any one of those classes throughout the Ignite calendar, and Amy is teaching that this session. Agents do camp better than anyone else. We do mega camp, and that's coming next week. So if you haven't signed up, if you're in your last days.
Get ready to pay on Delta or taking Megabus. To get there. So but we are going to, instead of team meeting next week, we're gonna have, I talked to Tyler this morning, and we're gonna set up a live stream.
Yes.
In the market
So
center.
next week, no team meeting formally, but we'll have that live stream.
Yeah, Carrie and I will be in Austin, so we'll lend the best, so we're gonna do that. Cool.
And then we have our new event for anniversary. So if your anniversary with KW, have lunch on August 24th with Onward and with Mike and Gray. And then if anybody has never been to the vendor showcase at MLS, it's a really fun event where a lot of vendors, just like we're gonna do here in our office coming up in September, but there's a lot of vendors that come to the vendor showcase, and that's gonna be at the Coca-Cola Robinson Battery. And then, of course, our vendor showcase. Our vendor showcase is coming September 14th. We did that last year. I think it was a huge success. And I'm so happy to bring it back again this year. We'll have the same format. Just make sure you bring $5 for KW Cares and $5, for the food truck to benefit KW Cares. And then we'll also do that 50-50 raffle again last year that we gave away quite a good pile of cash. And then, of course, then we have career visioning and quantum leap coming up with Jim Rivers. And that's going forward, that's gonna be in September and October. And then art.
Yep, I'm here. Good morning, Chat North, and happy Gratitude Tuesday. It's another wonderful day to be alive, isn't it?
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, first, a big shout out to Carrie Forster, AKA Vanna White. You did a beautiful job.
Second, I gotta turn up the volume real quick,
Mhm.
and I gotta.
Wow.
Okay, go on.
All right, great. Now I was saying a big shout out to Carrie, AKA Vanna White. You did a beautiful job over here. Great job. Thank you. And we're super excited and honored to have you to fill that position. We know that you're going to do a great job. Okay. And so just starting off today with some positive thoughts. We want to think positively. We want to exercise daily, eat healthy, work hard, stay strong, worry less, dance more, love often, be happy. Let's just continue to think big, aim high, act bold, peace and love, Chat North. We're out. Thank you.
No, we're not.
Have a great day.
Welcome to the team.
Yeah, excited.